Hello, friends, patriots. Welcome in. It is Friday, and it is an exciting end to a beautiful week. I hope you guys have been having fun. I know I have been. My name's Robert Imbrielli, and I got a special for you today. I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about, those furry babies that we love so much. I know you guys know about my cat Thumper. I talk about him a lot. And Lewis and his dogs. He loves his dogs. Today we have two people on, both Kurt and Kristen Ludlow, a married couple. Kurt is the VP of Sales for Pet Club 24/7, and Kristen is the what is it? The VP, National VP, I think is what we call her, National VP of Pet Club 24/7. So I can't wait. We're going to have a great conversation. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about some of the questions that we've been getting from all of you because we talk about Pet Club every day on our show. We know we get a lot of questions. People email us. So we're going to address some of those today with Kurt and Kristen. Kurt, Kristen, good to see you both. How are you?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Great to
Yeah.
be here. Thank you.
So good to have you. My pet's on mushrooms. Oh, I love that shirt. I got to have one of those. I got to tell you, this is so much fun.
And mushrooms have never been better.
Exactly, exactly. You know, we've been all seeing the results, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'm going to recount a quick story before we get into it. I was at Costco the other day, and I saw one of those one of the customers loading one of those 500-pound bags of dog food onto his cart, and I swear I just wanted to go up to them and say, "Do you really love your dog?" You know what I mean? What are you doing? This is not food. We can get into it on that level, Kristen. I know you're really educated in that area of what is in those bags of food that we don't want to be giving our dogs. Can you give me a quick overview of that? Bring people up to
Yeah,
speed.
absolutely. Especially those really large bags, like the American mind, we want to buy everything in bulk. And, we feel like, oh, we're getting a better deal when we're getting it in bulk. But unfortunately, those foods, especially those large bag of foods, have so many preservatives in them. From the time they're manufactured to the time that it goes into your home, on average, it's been 3 to 5 years old.
What?
That's how long it's been
Wow.
sitting in houses. So I don't know if you can tell me what natural whole food can last 3 to 5 years,
None.
still have the same consistency and everything. It's like, is that really food? And then even on top of that, a lot of these brands are using animal byproducts, which are unclean meat sources. That could include euthanized animals, roadkill, animals that are too sick for human consumption all get sold to pet food manufacturers at a discount because that industry is so loosely regulated. So be looking for that on the back of the bag whenever you're buying food for your pet. Make sure there are no animal byproducts in it. And then on top of it, a lot of them are using imported ingredients that have high levels of radiation and heavy metals in them. They're using sugars to get our pets chemically dependent on the food so that they'll overeat it. They'll eat twice as much as what they need because they become addicted to it. And then we buy it. It's a sales
Wow.
strategy. So we're buying double what they actually need to fuel their bodies. They're baking it at really, really high temperatures at 400 degrees, and it's charring the kibble and making it full of carcinogens. I mean, I could go on and on with the fillers and the binders. I could just, go on and on and on. But man, it's hard because when you look at the back of the bag, you see like 100 ingredients and it's very overwhelming. Like you don't know what to do with all of that. So we just encourage people, even on our website, there is a research article there about processed foods. So if you are giving your pet processed foods, there's a list of ingredients to avoid so that you can just have a quick chart to go by and take a look at. But man, I feel the same way when we see people at the store and everything inside of us is like screaming, but
Stop.
we
Yeah.
want to be respectful, and people need to learn. Unfortunately, not everybody understands what has been happening in the pet food industry as well as with human foods. And so they don't know what to look for. They still trust that everything's great.
Yeah, 1 in 3 are getting allergies. There's 6 million new cases of diabetes going on,
Yep.
and they're using human medications to help with those
They
things
are.
that they're
Yeah.
dealing with. It's just very cyclical what's happening. So, we're just a company. We're educating people on what's going on, and we're providing better solutions, better choices, so that people can understand what's happening and fighting back against what's going on out there. I mean, not
Yeah.
every manufacturer is doing this, but the majority are.
I read the labels on everything that I buy, and Kristen, like you mentioned, if you look on the pet food labels, it's like it's overwhelming, and you don't even know what half the stuff is. They're using names and words of, I don't know what this is. Well, if you can't read it, you probably shouldn't be feeding it to your pet, and more so, you should be eating it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we're getting more educated as we're becoming more aware, as we learn and share with each other through platforms like your own to help empower each other. Then they're changing words. So what used to be genetically modified is now bioengineered or biofortified. And so they're learning to change words so that we don't recognize what they are. So it's something that we all have to be really diligent about and really intentional with, keeping on top of this stuff and sharing it with each other so that we don't fall into those marketing traps that they're doing.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question. What is a woman? Right? Changing the words, changing the meaning of it.
Now that there's a new
Huh?
presidential candidate, they seem to know what a woman is.
Oh, they
So
kind of figured it out, huh?
Yeah.
now they know what a woman is.
Oh, brother, you had a story before we went live here today. You had a story you wanted to share about your friends in California. I'm blown away by that story. Can you tell us?
Absolutely. So for those of you that aren't aware of the mushroom that we work with, that we have a very pure and potent strain of the Corios versicolor mushroom, and we add it into treats for animals, dogs, cats, horses. We even have capsules for humans as well that want immune support, because this mushroom has over 400 clinical studies that have been published that show that it supports the immune system. And then the immune system is the body's first defense against everything. So we were sharing with Robert how it's over 90% of the time when animals try our products, people are noticing positive improvements within just about a week or so. They begin to notice little things like their tail is wagging a little more, they have more energy, they're walking a little more, or their appetite starts to come back. And so it's not uncommon for us to get these testimonials and hear what's happening in such a short period of time. But what is so incredibly powerful is seeing the long-term effects that these products are having on animals. It's very common now that we've been operating for 6.5, almost 7 years now. It's very common for us to see animals that are 11 or 12 years old, and now they're living to be 14, 15, 16. We had a 15-year-old animal that started on our products, lived to be 21 years old.
Wow.
And so we're seeing this more and more. So over the weekend, our dear friends got their dog Scout on our mush puppies 5 years ago. Scout was 11 years old. He could barely walk. When they took him out for walks, they literally just held him and they walked the entire time because he could barely move. And so the vet recommended that it was time to put him down, and we got him on these mush puppies. Within a couple of days, he was walking again. We saw them over the weekend. Scout is now 16 years old. He's walking around on his own, wagging his tail. Like when we got there, he kind of jumped up on us to pet him. And it gives me chills, like it fills my heart up to know that the work that we're doing and what we're a part of is so powerful. It's making such a big difference, not only quickly for pets and for people, but also long term, like being able to give the body the natural support that it deserves so it can function the way it was designed to function in the first place. And it's nice to be able to see so many animals and people have such a better quality of life, and getting them off of these things that they were so dependent on and onto the natural whole foods that are completely changing everything for them.
Yeah, we've been seeing, and we get a lot of testimonials from people who've tried it too, and they're like, man, I can't live without it now. My pet loves it, and not only do they love it, but they can see, the changes in them. It's like it reverses their age like 5 years or more. Sometimes it's just amazing to see, and it just goes to show you. It's like we take for granted that all these pet food companies are they have the pet's best interests in mind, don't they? Look at the marketing, the branding. Look at the labeling. Look at the beautiful photos of the super healthy dog on. They wouldn't lie to you, would they? Come on,
No,
right?
Not.
packages never lie.
No. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes for people to come around and really understand that, as the same way we're trying to understand that our government wouldn't lie to us, right? Why would they lie? It's like we always thought growing up anyway that the United States was the least corrupt of any government worldwide, because that's all we kept hearing,
Yeah.
Right.
right? And we wake up to a new reality and we go, wait a minute, we may be the most corrupt of all the governments out there. And you got to give people a little breathing time to kind of digest it and figure out, hey, you want what's best for your pet. You're not going to find it at Costco. I'm sorry. Even the stuff with the word natural on it. What does that mean?
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean,
And we ask those questions all the time because like we said at the beginning of this, they're disguising things. They're finding new words. I saw something that said natural flavors with other flavors. And I was like, that's the ingredients, natural flavors with other flavors. And they had it in big letters, like they were so proud of it. And I was like, oh my goodness, what have we become?
Yeah. Well, it's the same if you go and you buy fruit juice, right? It'll say 100% juice. What they're saying is one of the ingredients is 100% juice. The rest of it is high fructose corn syrup, water, and other things, right? But they could put a drop of 100% juice and they can use that on the label. So the labels are extremely misleading. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
all these things that are outlawed in many other countries. It's just
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, a lot of the GMO foods are not available. Because you have people who are gluten intolerant, quote unquote, here in the United States, and they'll go to Mexico, they'll go to Europe, they'll go whatever, and they can eat anything and not have any problems whatsoever. Why?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you look-
sorry, Kurt, go ahead.
I was just going to say, around 1985 is when they're talking about the big changes that occurred in, the human side of things as well as the pet side. I mean, you look back, but prior to that, how limited the cases of diabetes were.
Mm-hmm.
There were no gluten issues. There weren't the issues that kids are getting today, with all the things that are popping up in them. And it's just, it's really, really terrible.
Yeah, Robert, have you seen the pictures of people from like big, large crowds of people from the 50s and the 60s and the 40s, and
Obesity
hardly
was rare. Yeah.
are overweight? Like
Yep.
all of them look incredibly healthy. So
Yep.
it tells you it's the processing, it's the ingredients, it's the marketing, it's these little shortcuts and compromises that these companies and these manufacturers are making to increase their profit a little bit, which it makes sense at the beginning, but then you compound that over decades. And now we're at the point where it's not even considered food. It's chemicals in the form of food, or a bunch of chemicals that taste like foods that we eat taste. So it's just, we got to stop it. We got to do something about it and change the way that we're doing things for
Well,
sure.
the parallels are really interesting too, because if you look at the diseases that pets are getting, they're the human diseases. And why are the humans getting the diseases today that weren't really around in the 50s, 60s, and 70s? Really started around the 80s, where things started to get polluted and people started to put on a lot of weight. I think we have 65% of the people here in the United States are overweight now. That obesity back in the 70s was rare. Maybe there was
Right.
1 in 1,000. It was a rare thing. And you look at the parallels between that and the animals, and you go, well, what's the common denominator? Well, it's the food. Simple, right? It's the additives in the food and the garbage that's being put in there. And like you said, they changed the verbiage. My big one was aspartame. Remember aspartame? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they called it NutraSweet, and then we learned about NutraSweet, and we learned how bad it was. So now there's like 3 or 4 different names. They still use it. It's still on the market, but it's under different names now. And I won't touch NutraSweet. Oh, what are you drinking there? Well, it's got a new name, but the same stuff,
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, the average age of a golden retriever in the 70s was 17 years old, and that average age is 9. If you look into if we could go look at the animals that are in the wild, the coyotes, the wolves, they're not having any of these types of issues. We wouldn't even have them if they weren't having these issues, or if they were having these issues. You'd never see them out there.
Yep. Yeah, the only time we live in a rural area and we've got a lot of coyotes on the property, and the only time you see sick ones is when they got into the pesticides or something like that the farmers sprayed. Otherwise,
With human stuff.
they don't need their teeth repaired, and they don't need all this stuff. Somebody told me that a cat's age should be 30. That's
Yes.
an average age of a cat.
Yes. And a dog should be 18, 19.
Wow.
And now it's down to 9, I believe, is the average age of a dog.
Yeah.
And
It's
cats
just-
are about what 10, 12, I think, is it seems to be normal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we gotta push back. Like we have to do things differently and stop supporting these companies and stop giving them our money and continuing this cycle. Like Kurt said, it is completely cyclical, but now that we're aware of it, we got to break free from it and start doing things different, because all it is these processed stuff compromise the immune system gets compromised, then all these sicknesses and diseases and things start happening in the body. And then we get medications for it and treatments for it that only mask the symptoms, that never go
Bingo.
to the source, that
Yep.
never address the cause of all of the symptoms that we're experiencing. So now animals and people are dependent upon these medications to be able to live for the rest of their lives. And oh, are there side effects to that? Well, then take this for those side effects. And then that just keeps adding and adding and adding. And then next thing we know, our pets and ourselves are so full of chemicals and toxins that our bodies can't even process it. And organs start to go into failure. And then there's stuff for that, you know? So it's a cycle that has to be broken. We have to go back to the way it originally was, eating natural whole foods, putting natural whole foods into the body, feeding it the natural support that it needs so that the immune system can then do what it was designed to do in the first place, to go to the cause or the source of whatever's creating those symptoms and address it there. So then the symptoms magically go away. You know, it sounds so simple, but like you said, it is. What's right is simple.
Yep.
Always.
You are so wise beyond your years, I'm telling you. I love it. Okay, so let's get into some of the questions that I get asked from the people who love and want to do more with Pet Club. They've got a dog. They go to the website and they click on the tab for dog food, dog stuff for dogs. Where should they begin?
We have a saying with Pet Club 24/7 that with the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, every pet, every person, every day. Every pet, every person, every day should be getting the Coriolis versicolor mushroom into their systems, because regardless of what the world throws at us in the food, what they try to put inside of us, what we're putting on us, in the water quality, the air, the chemicals, the things we're cleaning with, all that's trying to compromise the immune system, our body needs to be at its best. The immune system needs to be working optimally to be able to go against everything that's being thrown at it. So regardless of what you're experiencing, even if your pet is healthy or you're healthy, we recommend getting that mushroom into the system daily. So we always want to start with that. And then if you want to accelerate the progress and accelerate the whole process of the body self-regulating and course correcting, then there are additional things that you can do as well. For example, if your pet is having a food that is not good for them, you can switch them, transition them to some of the whole foods that we have. We have a kibble and a canned food. We have freeze-dried food that are so much better. They have prebiotics and probiotics in them, but we also have mineral-rich antler toys and biscuits that have mineral-rich antler powder in them, especially if your dog is chewing on rocks or wood or grass or dirt, or they're eating poop or other animals' poop. That shows you that their bodies are lacking minerals. So you can give them these toys to play with. You can give them those biscuits to chew on called the Bucky Bites, and that will get those minerals into their bodies. And so those are some of the things that, you know, that's what the way we recommend it is immune support is always top priority, because it's your body's first defense. And then from there, you can integrate the other options that we have as well to support that.
Awesome.
One of our greatest products, Robert, is the super sauce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For dog.
Oh yeah.
And it has glucosamine, chondroitin, carotene in it, and it's natural. It's not the synthetics that a lot of people are buying separately to give to their animals, and they're spending separately on a monthly basis anywhere from $11 to $23. And then if they are buying the natural, they're spending a lot more per month. All of that's added in there with a mushroom, and it's just a great product that someone can mix into their current food as a topper. And it really takes, depending on the size of the animal, anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon a day. It's really incredible.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the cats in our lives who tend to be a little bit more finicky, shall we say,
Yes.
picky about what they eat.
A little bit. But with the cat super sauce, what we found, if you do have a finicky pet, is if you just start with a little bit at first, so you just mix in like a drop, for example, with their food.
Okay.
And then the next day you just do a little bit more and a little bit more. So it's implementing it just in tiny amounts to kind of wean them onto it. And they do much better with that. It is a handmade gravy, but like Kurt said, all of the products are made with human grade whole foods and human grade kitchens. So it is a handmade gravy. So it has a flavor. So if your pet is finicky, you just kind of got to get them used to it in little bits of it. But what's incredible is once they start feeling the difference in their bodies, they start to crave it. And then they won't eat the food without it because their bodies know that sauce, that those ingredients in that sauce is what's making it feel better, and it begins to crave those ingredients.
It's exactly what happened with our cat. Exactly. Didn't want it at first, and then because we just put it in and just here, taste it. He didn't like it. Mixed it in with his food just a little bit, then a little bit more, then a little bit more. And now it's like he won't eat the food without it. It's exactly what he said. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is with those finicky cats. They know what they want.
They know what
But
they
then
want.
when they get what they need, they're like, oh yeah, I want more of that.
Hey, I'm feeling young again. Summer's coming. I got to get my shape back.
Do you notice the difference in your cat's coat?
Yes.
Once they start taking the super sauce, that blew me away when how soft and shiny and smooth their coats get because of all those minerals. It almost broke my heart a little bit because I didn't realize how brittle and coarse it was until it wasn't. Then once it was the way that it's supposed to be, I was like, oh my goodness, this poor baby. Like, who knows how he was feeling before he started getting that super sauce,
Well, cats also don't complain. So when something's wrong, they're not going to tell you too much, right? A dog is more likely to, act differently, or a cat won't. They'll just keep going.
Yeah, they'll just stay to themselves.
Yep. Yeah, something's broken. So what? I think it's time for a nap. Should we talk a little bit? Yeah, exactly. Should we talk a little bit about horses?
Yes. So we have some incredible things happening with horses. And unfortunately, and we're not sure what the cause of this is, but more and more horses are developing autoimmune diseases like Cushing's, going through stables and just completely wiping out the entire population of that stable. It's awful. And so again, when we get that immune support into them, it's incredible what their bodies are able to do because this mushroom is not a cure for anything. It's just a mushroom that grows on logs out in nature, but it feeds the immune system, and then the immune system's what's going in. So we have these little horse cakes called the mush ponies that have the Coriolis versicolor mushroom in them. And then, like Kurt said, we also add naturally sourced glucosamine, carotene, chondroitin. Oh my goodness, what has been happening with the horses has been phenomenal. If you do have a horse with concerns, get these mush ponies start feeding them to them every day. You can't give them too much. So feed them as many as you want to get started, because the more of that mushroom they get into their system, it acts as a catalyst for the immune system. So it'll start to respond quicker. But especially, we have a farrier in California who had a horse that had a malabsorption issue. So he couldn't absorb any of the nutrients that he was being fed. And it was awful. His hair, there were just patches where there was no hair because he didn't have enough nutrients to grow the hair. Pieces of his hooves were missing. It was horrible. His blood work was awful. And they started giving him these mush ponies. And within just about a month or so, they started seeing some of the hair was growing back in some of the places. He was cleaning out the horseshoes and he was like, oh my goodness, this hoof, some of the padding was coming back. And then now here we are years later, and the horse is doing very well, doesn't have any malabsorption issues. Labs are coming back perfect. It's been 4 years now, and he's 23 years old. So he's doing really well. Yeah. So man, if you have horses, whether they're experiencing conditions or not, these mush ponies need to be a part of their daily diet so that you don't have to get to that point where then you have to make those tougher decisions or, implement these other medications or treatments or anything like that, because their own immune systems will be able to handle it. But we're not sure why there's these rises in these issues with horses. I mean, we have our suspicions of maybe what's being put into their bodies might be a source for it, but we're not entirely sure. But it's definitely disheartening to see the numbers rising the way that they are.
It really is.
Just being versus reactive
Yeah.
is such a key, keeping them healthy, keeping their immune system where it needs to be. It's just so important.
You know, when I get the calls when the animal gets sick.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think it'll help? You think it'll help? Well, yeah, it will. And prevention is much better than treatment. But certainly, if that's where you are, that's where you are. Let's start here. And just make sure going forward that if you have other pets or something, just make sure you're giving it to them earlier on before they get into
Absolutely.
that trouble.
We
I'm
always we always say preventative healthcare is the most affordable
Yes,
healthcare.
it is.
correct.
It is the least expensive healthcare.
Yep. Mush ponies, could they be given to other animals? I know you had mentioned sometimes that they may be used with dogs as well.
Yeah, like dogs, large dogs that are pretty much the size of horses. You can give them the mush ponies and it's more cost effective that way. Also, if you have maybe a dog with a pretty severe condition where you're trying to get as much of this mushroom into them as you can, the mush ponies are helpful for that because instead of giving them, five of our mush puppies, you can give them one mush pony. Or if it's a smaller dog, you can even break it in half and give them half of the mush pony. So if you are on a budget and it's really tight, which we know with what's happening in the country right now, a lot of people are experiencing
Yep.
having to tighten up on their budget. So that's a more cost-effective way for them to get more of the mushroom into their system and help them out.
And any equine, that's for any
Yeah, all
equine out there.
equines. We have
Yeah.
donkeys, llamas, alpacas, we have cows, goats, sheep, even that are all eating the mush ponies. So
Yeah, I was
Right.
just going to
Some,
ask about that. That's fantastic because obviously nutrition is nutrition, so all the animals are going to benefit from it. Yeah.
absolutely.
You know what we're seeing a lot out here in the rural areas? People come from the city, can no longer afford to keep their pet, and they're jumping the pets off and taking off. You know, it's
yeah,
sort of there's
got
got to be a
going.
better way, people. I mean, I know it's expensive to have a pet, and I know everyone's really pinched financially, but that's probably not the best solution.
No,
Yeah.
please, please, if you know someone that's dealing with that scenario and they're unsure what to do, there are rescues all over the country. There are places where people will gladly be able to take them and find them new homes, but please don't just leave them out to fend for themselves when they've never had to fend for themselves a day in their life. That's heartbreaking to hear that. But
Yeah.
I understand people get desperate, but just know that if you know people that are in that situation, please let them know there are tons of organizations and rescues and people that will help
Yep.
find homes for them, find new homes.
Yeah, you could do something as simple as post in a Facebook group in your local community too, and say, "I can no longer afford this, and can I need to rehome this animal?" And there'll be people that'll step up within minutes. Yeah,
And no one will judge people. I think people are more compassionate and they're more grateful that you had the vulnerability to reach out and to find a proper home where they'll be loved and taken care of than, just doing something maybe to spare the humiliation or the embarrassment of it or whatever it might be. People are really appreciative of that. So
yeah.
yeah, there's tons of ways to reach out and find people to help.
One
We
more
all got
tab. Sorry.
we all have each other's backs,
We,
right?
we absolutely do, and I was just going to talk about humans because you have supplements for humans as well.
Oh yeah, we have several different mushrooms for humans and what's funny is we always joke that all of our products and the mushrooms were tested on humans before we found out they were safe for animals. Because the company was offering the Coriolis versicolor mushroom for humans and thought there has to be a better way. And then they thought, well, we have this mushroom and it's doing all this stuff for people. I wonder if this would work for animals. And that's how Pet Club 24/7 was born, and as a response or as an answer to those prayers, pretty much. And so when people started seeing everything that was happening with their pets, they were like, animals have no idea that there's a mushroom in what we're feeding them. It's either working or it's not. There's no placebos. So they thought, man, this must be good for people too. And so they decided to create a little human section on the website as well, where people could get the mushrooms. And we're experiencing the same things that we're experiencing with the pets. All different types of conditions can be resolved if the immune system just has the support that it needs to take care of it. And it has been the biggest blessing for so many people. We believe that if you're a pet parent, you can take better care of your pets if you're well. if you're feeling better, if you have more energy, if you're not struggling or suffering. We can take better care of our families. So it's equally important, because our pets are dependent on us. We're their voice. We provide everything for them. It's equally important that we're, living the best quality of life that we can too, and that we're at optimal health as well. So you can get the Enforce capsules, which are the green bottle that has the Coriolis versicolor mushroom in it. And were you going to say?
Oh no, I'll add in a minute here.
Yeah, and that will support the immune system. Then you can see the yellow bottle there. That is the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. That's called the Enforce Plus. So it also has a little bit of the reishi mushroom in it, which is an alkalinizing mushroom that's helpful for blood sugar levels, regulating blood pressure levels. Oh my goodness, we run into so many people that are struggling with high blood pressure that it's alarming. So the reishi mushroom, you look at some research, what it does for blood pressure. We have the maitake mushroom, which is the red bottle. It's called Enforce Restore. That's helpful for liver and pancreas support. Then the blue bottle is the Clarity. That's the lion's mane mushroom, and that is really helpful for nerve and brain support. There's a rise in cases of Alzheimer's, dementia, neuropathy, Parkinson's. We have dear friends who we also just saw over the weekend, whose father had Parkinson's for a year, and all of the treatments, everything that he was doing was getting progressively worse. And so he decided to try the Enforce Clarity. Within about a week, he noticed he was feeling almost a calmness. And within a month, he was doing much better. Now it's been 3 months. We saw him this last weekend. We shook his hand, and with tears in his eyes, all he said was thank you.
Wow. Wow.
It was so powerful. You've seen over the last couple of years, huge rise in the thousands of percent in the number of cases of dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and neuropathy. So we need to get the foods that are going to help the body push back against the progression of those different types of conditions. So even if you have kids, we have chocolate chip cookies that has mineral-rich sea salt in it, and the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. Or if you have grandkids,
oh, don't talk to me about those chocolate chip cookies. Oh my God, they're good.
They're amazing, and they go really well with the coffee that has a mushroom in it. I don't know if you guys have tried mushroom drinks before, but we had a lady that wrote us that was like, I used to have to plug my nose to drink those
Some
drinks.
of them. Yep.
Yeah, but they're healthy, so you kind of just get through it to get the healthy stuff into your body. Not with our coffee. It's like the most delicious coffee, so smooth. I know probably everyone would say that if they're offering it, but it really is. Like, we always encourage people, no, really try it. And then we have the gummies that are 100% natural. It took us a while to develop those because it's really hard to make 100% natural gummies. And we absolutely love them. They have a little bit of a savory flavor to it because of the mushroom. You can actually taste the mushroom. It's so good. I love them. I try to only eat one a day.
We get the testimonials are amazing. A lot of people that are staying proactive versus reactive. They're seeing such an increase in energy. They're seeing sleeping better. Some report that their eyesight improves. And again, this is not a cure for anything. There's over 400 clinical studies and trials that started with our strain, and the majority are on our strain, which is the most potent strain. We have a proprietary way we extract it for even greater efficacy. And so it's not our scientific advisory board saying these things. You're getting the best when you get it through us. A lot of companies, they'll take it when it's, and please, I'm not downing any companies. I don't want anyone to think that. But what I want people to understand is that when they usually take it to the full fruited body, when it's fully grown out. And so still effective, but not as effective as when we can get it at the mycelia stage, which is what our proprietary way of extracting it does, which brings greater potency and quicker and faster results. And it's really incredible what it's doing. We have a few, just this last couple of days, I received a call from not the Million Mile Man, but
the Walking Man.
The Walking Man, who's put on over 52 million hours of walking.
He's taken 52 million steps.
I'm okay.
You do a lot more in an hour.
Yes. So 52 million steps. He's 80 years old. He still walks every day. He's going to Antarctica to walk here
Yeah, that's
soon.
the only continent he hasn't walked
Walk.
across. So he's walking across it in 2025.
But
Wow.
he reported just after a couple of weeks of being on it, someone who got it into his hands, that his endurance has increased. Like he's gone back years in life, sleeping better, his energy,
His
recovery time, the way
recovery.
his knees and stuff and things are feeling. Those are the types of things that we constantly receive from different people regarding, this product. It's just, it's really great. So again, just getting it in that system is really paramount.
Hard to do if you got to drink coffee every day, though. Come on, really?
And if you're like, I don't drink caffeine anymore. I haven't had caffeine in years. And they have it, there's a decaf coffee that they use completely natural way using CO2 pressure to decaffeinate it. So there are absolutely no chemicals introduced. Like a lot of times they'll use bleach and other
Right.
chemicals. Caffeinate it. This is completely decaffeinated using CO2. So it is 100% natural, no mycotoxins, all organic. This is the best coffee that you could possibly ask for.
That's just what our company is about, is just
Yeah.
making sure we're doing our best
Yeah.
to make sure that the ingredients are healthy the way that it should be, so that we can, overturn what's going on and put people in a better direction as we, move forward. We
Right.
had another lady that yesterday I spoke to her, and she was she was an Olympian, and she's in her early 60s now. And she did the weightlifting deadlifts, and she did amazing at it. And she told me yesterday, she goes, I'm over 60 now. And since being on the mushroom, I started lifting again. She goes, I'm doing 75% of what I was doing back then in the way that I lift. And I
At her
can't believe it. She
prime.
actually said, are you sitting down? Because
Wow.
I couldn't even believe this. And, again, it's just, it's really just, improving the way of life for people. It's incredible. We would not go a day without it. I'll tell you that right now. And we've been on it for, well into 5 years. And guys, understand that, the Inforce product, which is just an amazing product. That's the initial product that we rolled out with, or the company did, close to 20 years ago. So we've been bringing it to the US with countless stories and testimonials, but there's no side effects. You can't get addicted to it. It doesn't interact with any medications. Again, it's a whole food,
It's like
and
eating a
it's
mushroom
immune
on a
support.
salad. It's
Yeah,
And
no different from
literally.
eating a mushroom on a piece of pizza.
get
Yeah.
our immune system right, and it's capable of resolving any type of situation we could be dealing with, and keeping us feeling great, which is important.
So it's like, we hope that this is encouraging for people because, we talk about these things. We just know there's so many people that feel really helpless, feel like there's nothing that they can do. They're watching loved ones that are suffering through unimaginable things at younger and younger ages and feeling like, well, we've exhausted our options. We've exhausted our resources. What can we do? And so we hope that this is encouraging to people and lets them know that, hey, there are natural resources that are a lot more affordable, a lot more effective, that people are experiencing much better results because their own body is being able to do what it was meant to do in the first place.
You're lighting people on fire in many ways. And one of the questions that comes up now, I'm starting to hear a lot more, is like, okay, how can I become a distributor? I'm sold. The products are great. We're seeing the results. We're hearing other people talk about the results. How do I jump in? What do I need to do?
Yeah, we're looking for 1 million voices because we believe anything significant that's ever happened all happened because good people stood up and locked arms and started to be a voice for each other and started to take care of each other. So we do have a program. You can become a brand advocate with the company with Pet Club 24/7. And it's very simple to set up. You can go to screwbiggov.com/pets and just click on the rewards button and it will explain how the program works there. It's very simple. It takes about 5 minutes to set up your own online link, and you can start sharing these products with the people that you care about and really get the word out. Our vision with Pet Club 24/7 is if we can just give people a better way, right? And redirect all this spending that's already happening anyway. The pet industry did $147 billion last year, which is more than the skincare, beauty, and weight loss industries did combined.
Wow.
That's the
And
US.
that's just in the United
Yeah.
States. So
Wow.
that tells you where people are spending their money and what's important to them right now. And so if we can redirect a lot of the spending that's already happening and then redistribute those resources and get them into good people's hands, we can really affect change on a local level. So we really encourage people, become a brand advocate, be a voice for those that don't have one. I think we have a monthly platform fee that's just $14.99 a month, and that's the only overhead. That's the only thing. You're not required to purchase any product yourself. There are no quotas, there are no thresholds. You receive referral commissions on everything that's purchased through your website link, whether somebody buys 1 bag of mush puppies or 1,000 bags of mush puppies. So it's a really simple and straightforward program that is putting a lot of families in more positive situations and, funding a lot of good projects. People are able to give more to the ideas and the people that they want to support. So there's just a lot of good coming out of that rewards program. So yeah, we encourage people become a voice with us and help stand up with us and fight the good fight.
So important to get the word out, because I mean there's so many people. You just you want to build this business. It's quite easy. Just go stand at Costco, stand by the dog food, and hand out your cards. Of course they'll probably kick you out, but hey, there are many Costco's.
But you're right, Robert. People are just so open. They want information
Yeah.
today. They want to know, and we're able to provide ways that we can educate people, and just getting on one of our pet health 101s, and just getting a good understanding of what's going on and how to fix and resolve that issue, and potentially put thousands of dollars into their pocket by keeping their pets healthier and happier, and of
And
course
out of the
around a
vet's
lot longer.
office. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it just we're just doing a great thing. We're looking for voices to help us, put an end to what's going on, create awareness, and that's a great way to do it.
Change the world one pet and one person at a time.
And Kristen, I saw on your Facebook that this is your passion play. So this is really cool to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is my passion project. We're really grateful. I say all the time, I would do this for free.
You would.
How you know that you're doing what you're called to do.
Yeah.
That's how you know that you're very passionate about what you're doing, is if you would do it for free. And I would. And I'm so grateful that the rewards program through Pet Club 24/7 is really generous, because it allows us to give. So it's given us like a heart of radical generosity, where we're able to give so much more back. And so we're really, really grateful for the program, and we're looking for other people that do want to be a part of it. So thanks for bringing that up and mentioning it, because it's very powerful, the work that's happening and everything that's been going on. It's created a movement, really. We call it the mushroom movement.
Yeah, well, people are seeing the results, and then we keep talking about it on our show as well. And I think that's what's really stirring people up. Okay, how do I do it? I want to join. I want to get involved here. So yeah, thank you for sharing how easy it is to get set up. Literally 5 minutes and you're in as a brand advocate. $14.99 a month is, what, 2 lattes? You know what I mean? It's not really that expensive. And
And one customer covers that,
Yeah.
covers that overhead. It's just really, really not much.
And you're not selling. That's the other thing to keep in mind too, is people are already sold. They already want what's best for their pet, and all you're doing is making recommendations, right? And I always tell people, look, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. If your pet doesn't like it or you don't see the results, you can get your money back. It's really a no-risk deal. But your pet's not going to let you stop ordering it. That's the thing. Once they get a taste of it and they start feeling better, yeah, more, bring more.
But one of your viewers, Robert, his Tom, you may know Tom. He's
Yep.
a phenomenal guy. Tom, I was talking to Tom the other day, and he said, and they've been on the products for both pets and humans. They love them and just seen amazing things with their own pets. But and his daughter was not jumping on the product, and she was telling him she had to change her dog food because of some of the challenges her dog was dealing with, and she was going to get, another brand name product, Imes. And he goes, well, look, let me buy it for you. Let me just send it to you. Please just try ours. And of course she did. And he said it was funny because she had the food that the dog was used to eating, and they put our food in, which is
To transition him.
the transition that you
Right.
want to do. And we have all those transition instructions on there. And he said her dog ate all of our food and did not touch any of the old food. And of course, she knew then it was,
Yeah.
he needs to be on food. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes
Hear
the
that
pets
a
have to
lot.
tell us. We don't know. Sometimes the pets have to give us the information, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
absolutely.
Wow, this was a lot of fun. You guys delivered and over delivered. The information is really great. I think we had a nice, well rounded conversation here. I want to thank you both for taking the time today. I know it's warm where you are and you're staying cool. Both of you look great. We're going to do this again for sure because I think people really want to know and they want to keep digging in. And guys, on the website, there's a lot of information. There are webinars you can watch, and Pet Club 24/7 is always doing trainings. I get the text messages all the time on that. So they're always keeping you informed of what's going on. And, if you want to learn more, you can dig in. You guys actually have a program, right, where you train people at the next level, not to just be a brand ambassador, but there's levels even above that if you really want to dig into this. So it could be a career for you if you want it to be.
Yeah, people, if we have a program that people can actually get certified in pet nutrition through us, a globally recognized certification course. So, that's another option if people would like to do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are some people that are viewers who would love to do that, and they just love animals, they love pets, they love being around it, and to become certified as a consultant, that would be fantastic. So, yeah, you guys are doing the right thing. For sure. And I love the company, and but from the bottom of our heart, we thank you guys for supporting us. It makes a big difference. It allows us to keep the show on the air. And for all our viewers who are, buying the products, thank you because you're helping us. And, more importantly, you're helping your pets live happier, live longer, live healthier. And that's what we're all looking for.
Absolutely. And thank you, Robert,
Yeah.
for opening up your platform, and you and Lewis, all that you guys are doing. It's just, we're so incredibly grateful for you guys. And you are like a walking encyclopedia. I love every conversation I have with you. I'm like, I learned so much every time we talk. So thank you
Yes.
for pouring back into people and sharing all that you've learned and come across with us all to
You're
help
making me
us.
blush, girl.
We appreciate it.
No, I love you both too. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you guys for watching. And we can't wait to see you again. The Unity Tour is beginning, so we're going to be on the air a lot coming up over the next 30 days. You're going to get tired of seeing me, I'm sure, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I promise you, we're going to have a blast. So, thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Kristen.